Here's a sight for sore eyes, especially if you're broken down by a more remote towpath than this one. It's River Canal Rescue here, getting you going again. Here's Managing Director Stephanie Horton.
We were set up in 2000 following a reoccurring dream that Trevor had, the CEO, which was about a company called River Canal Rescue, which provided breakdown and recovery services on the inland waterways. We were boaters at the time, and although Trevor's an engineer, we had we'd come across the problem with just not being able to get services on the waterways, especially if you didn't know exactly where you were. So we decided to set the company up, really. I was working at the time, and we set the company up with very little funds and launched it. Unfortunately, we launched it the year that the foot and mouth hit. So the waterways were closed. We didn't do very well in that first year, but we've steadily grown, and our biggest supporter are people who actually use the service. And we set out to deliver a customer service rather than... although we fix boats, the whole point is to take the worry out of boating. So it's very much aimed at providing a very high level of customer service to our customers. Ultimately, the membership is all about giving peace of mind. So when a member breaks down, they have one phone call, and we start to sort everything out for them, no matter what that problem is. We do mainly deal with engines, so the whole point is to keep a boat moving. So anything that stops you moving or puts you or the boat in danger, then we'll go out to. But we are classed by boaters as the only emergency service on the waterways, mainly because if your boat's sinking, although that's not covered by us, we won't leave you in the lurch. If you have a domestic issue, then we're on hand to help you with that. We're developing a lot of other services as well. It's all about sort of understanding boaters. So, I mean, one of the things we don't use a call centre. All of our staff are trained. They've all been out on boats. They've got their boat safety. They've got their helmsman courses. When you talk to somebody at the end of the phone, they know what your problem. You know, they empathise with you. They understand if you've got problems mooring your boat, because we get a lot of new boaters as well. In fact, we've had people who didn't know how to moor up, and we've had to talk them through it. You know, we get problems with boats that are grounded in the middle of the canal or in the middle of the rivers usually, and that's generally down to, in certain areas, boaters don't realise, but things like on the fens, the water's actually irregularly let go, so there's almost a tidal situation. So it's just about informing them. Unfortunately, sit there for a few hours. We'll let the EA know they might be able to let some water go, and it'll sort things out for you. So we liaise with British Waterways, the Environment Agency, the Coast Guard, and the RLNI as well, really to coordinate a lot of the rescues. We've rescued a lot of boats. Some of the more dramatic rescues have been out on the Trent. Unfortunately, with the rescue services, they're mainly interested in rescuing people, whereas for us it's about the boat. So we get the people off, and then we go and rescue the boat. And we've saved quite a few insurance claims, to say the least, by actually kind of getting the boat back and safe.
Hello. Hello. Engine covers off, tools and meter at the ready. Trevor is right on the case and hunting down the fault.
The boat's 21 years old, and has been fairly sound up until now, and I've had her for 2.5 years.
And do you know anything of the history of the engine, or not really?
I honestly don't know very much about the history of the engine at all, no.
But the boat you love, I take it?
The boat is lovely, yes. Usually we do fairly local cruising, but we're on this Thames trip, so it's a bit longer than usual.
The engine originally wouldn't start, then when jump started wouldn't stop on the switch, so Trevor has to track down what's actually wrong.
This didn't happen when I was halfway up the Thames. There you go. The nappy was to absorb the moisture that's in there. Right. There's an awful lot of rain got in the week. I asked my neighbours, the gentlemen on the boats next door, if they knew how to stop the engine manually. Nobody's familiar with my engine. I have a Vetus engine and they don't, so we didn't know about that. So I rang RCR, who I know are at the festival and I have membership to, so I waited for them to come with their engineer to sort it out for me.
It quickly became obvious that it was an electrical system failure, but he had to start up again to check it out. And a helpful neighbour and a set of jump leads soon solved that. With the engine running and the meter on the job, it didn't take long. After around 10 minutes aboard, it was the alternator, gone to Beatus heaven. So Trevor, that's the problem identified.
That's the problem, yes. The alternator has stopped working basically.
And that must be a fairly frequent fault, I guess.
Very common problem with narrowboats. They use a lot of power, so they're working very hard. So sometimes they can be quite difficult to find the problem. Depends on who's done the electrics and how it's all wired up. But as you can see on this one, all the wires are red. Yeah. So fathoming out which one goes where can be a little bit difficult.
Back now to Stephanie Horton for the service details.
So we've got 4 levels of membership: retainer, bronze, silver and gold. They all provide the same level of cover, so you get breakdown and recovery, but they all have different bolt-ons. So if you have other people using the boat, if you want cover while you're at your home marina, if you need crew relay, so they're all different types like that. So the retainer is £55, but that's a pay-on-use system. That's only been recently introduced. We tend to find people who've got new boats who just want a bit of peace of mind knowing that we're on the end of the phone should anything happen. Those people who maintain their own boats but realise they can't carry everything, and hire boats. We also have lots of private hire boats that use that because the boat is the member, which means that anybody's covered on board. The bronze, silver and gold you don't actually pay anything towards. So the bronze starts at 85 and that covers you for up to 4 breakdowns, and it is mainly used by people who live on board, or those that only want cover while they're away from their home marina, i.e. just for that peace of mind again. Silver is 110, that includes the crew relay and the home start and up to 7 breakdowns, plus you can nominate one other person to be on board to drive the boat while you're not there. The gold is the all singing, all dancing. So the gold membership includes the crew relay, the home start, covers the boat for anybody, but it also, we do an annual engine and electrical inspection. And what that is very similar to is a bit like having a pre-MOT on your boat. So we go down, we spend about an hour and a half, we do a 21-point check and it's all information based. The engineers are quite happy to spend time showing people around their engine, making sure they know about the common faults, etc. But what it does allow, it means that you've got an independent report on your engine, which means that you can then take that to a marina and say, this is what I want doing before you actually go cruising. We've now developed that a little bit more. We also offer servicing to our members. We found about 3 or 4 years ago that we were having a real high rise in breakdowns in the spring, which is normal because people go out boating, but there was a huge number that were down to either poor servicing or no servicing at all. And what we found with people were saying, well, it's too expensive, or I don't know where to go in this area. So we developed the servicing, and we do servicing for £120, and that's including labour, VAT, parts, and we visit the boat wherever you are on the system. And that means that we've tended to reduce the number of breakdowns that we get, and it means that I can keep the engineers busy during winter, because obviously there's not many boats out and about.